So much focus on Ohio, and yet the one part of the story what we're not talking about, maybe the biggest part of the story, Ohio's voting machines. Already there are major concerns that the electronic voting machines here, as well as an electronic software patch that's been placed on voting machines in the northern part of the state by Secretary of State John Husted, could cause all kinds of problems. According to the Free Press, Election Systems and Solutions, ES&S, they installed software patches that will affect 4,041,000 registered voters, including those in metropolitan Columbus and Cleveland. A story you haven't heard much about, right? Well, uncertified and untested software for electronic voting systems, they are presumably illegal under Ohio law. All election systems, hardware and software, it has to be tested and certified by the state before being put into use, according to Ohio's revised code 3506. By unilaterally deeming this new software experimental, Secretary of State Husted was able to have the software installed without any review, inspection, or certification by anyone. Again, that according to the Free Press. It's a very big story here. These software patches are only the beginning, though, of the questions surrounding Ohio's voting machines. One of the most surprising revelations is how closely Governor Mitt Romney is connected to the machines being used right here in Hamilton County. Last week, we investigated whether or not those machines could actually be hacked, whether the votes could be manipulated. Here's a look at that reality check. 2012 could be the most unique presidential election in history in at least one respect. How many times in history has one of the candidates for president actually been connected to the company that owns the voting machines? Here's the backstory. Hart InterCivic is an Austin-based voting machine company, and its clients include Hamilton County, Ohio, which administers elections here in Cincinnati. In fact, Hamilton County is only one of 2 counties in the entire state that use Hart InterCivic. The other is Williams County. It's in the northwestern part of the state, a very small county. Hamilton County, though, is very important. Hamilton County, which went to Obama in 2008 and Bush in 2004, is believed that it could be the one that decides the winner of Ohio. And Ohio, more than any other state, will likely decide the presidency. Hart has had voting machines in Hamilton County since 2007. So suffice to say, Hamilton County is really, really important. So how do the voting machines play here? The Ohio website Free Press has reported a key investor in Hart is HIG Capital. 7 HIG Capital directors are former employees of Bain & Co., the same Bain & Company where Mitt Romney was CEO before leaving in 1984 to found Bain Capital. So definitely some connections there. But according to Salon.com, HIG Capital has gone even further, contributing $338,000 to the Romney campaign this year. More importantly, they announced their investment in Hart, the voting machine company, a month after Romney formally entered the presidential race. 4 HIG executives have been identified as Romney bundlers by the independent watchdog group, the Sunlight Foundation. Okay, so clearly HIG Capital are Romney supporters, and they became major investors after Romney announced his bid for president. But even if they wanted to, could Hart InterCivic actually tamper with the voting results? Well, actually, they might be able to. In 2007, when Hart and 2 other voting machine companies began providing services in Ohio, the Secretary of State's office conducted a study called Everest to determine just how trustworthy the machines are. And here's what they found about Hart. Quote, the researchers concluded that virtually every ballot, vote, election result, and audit log is, quote, forgeable and otherwise manipulatable by an attacker with even brief access to the voting systems. Now, there's a long list of problems with Hart machines, too long for this report. But researchers also found that the Hart voting system violates, they say, a basic isolation tenet of security engineering. Compromise of a single precinct provides materials to compromise any precinct and the election headquarters. They also found that the auditing features were vulnerable to a broad range of attacks that can corrupt or erase logs of election activities. So what this means to you, well, first of all, let's be clear. We're not saying that the Romney campaign will cheat or has any plans to cheat on November 6th. But regardless, there is a huge problem here, one that transcends any one candidate. And the answer to that problem is transparency, a written record of every vote cast, a hard copy record, one that can't be changed by hackers or by software companies, one that can be verified and then recounted easily and clearly after the election. And that